Hi guys, my name is David and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be reviewing The Children God Forgot by Graham Masterton. This is the first Graham Masterton book that I have ever read and picked up. In fact, I was reading this during October, but it was the only novel that I didn't complete during that month, so it kind of got pushed into November. I first heard about this book from Pax Panic as she did a video on it herself, and I didn't go out and buy it purely because of her video. I got this from one of my subscription boxes. It was a book that was included in one of them boxes, and I knew I had it in my collection after watching Pax's video. But last month I thought, you know what, I'm going to pick it up and give it a try. I didn't know really what to expect. I knew it had something to do with, the sewers in London, but that's all I really knew about it. So at the bottom it has a little blurb that says, "Forsake the living, forget the dead, fear the children." So my overall thoughts on this was really positive. It flowed at a good pace. Yes, it's not Shakespeare or anything like that. Graham's writing style kind of reminded me a lot about Sean Hudson. He has that kind of way of storytelling, and the way he structures his writing isn't exactly like Sean's, but it's very similar. And also because this is set over here in the UK, there was a lot of environments and locations which was very familiar to me. So before I get into this, I'm just going to say my usual things here, that this is going to be a spoiler-free video, and this is going to be my own thoughts and feelings regarding this book. So, The Children That God Forgot starts off with a character called Gemma, who is in a organisation. She's an employee of a organisation that is responsible for clearing the drains and the sewage tunnels beneath London. This isn't her company, she just works for the company, and one day they get a call saying that there is this massive fatberg that's blocking a tunnel, and it's described as being massive. If you don't know what a fatberg is, think of an iceberg but made of fat. That's pretty much what it is, and we spend a lot of our time down in the sewers, and it can be very descriptive when it comes to what's floating down there. No, it's not Pennywise, but trust me guys, there are a lot more scarier things down in the sewer, especially in this book. More creepy than a alien clown. So when Gemma and her team go down to the sewer and they see this massive fatberg, it is huge. It is blocking the whole entrance, and it's kind of like a tree that is growing, the roots are growing down into the tunnel, and because it was built in the Victorian times, it's kind of falling to pieces, no one's maintaining it, and this fatberg is like blocking the flow of the sewage and the water, or all the other stuff down there. And it's describing about all these wet wipes and earbuds and all these weird, strange things that when you're reading this, you're thinking, how can someone possibly flush that down the toilet or get that down the drain? It wouldn't surprise me about what's actually down in the sewers, and like prams or trolleys or footballs or anything like that. But it's basically Gemma and her fellow colleagues' job to clear this fatberg so the flow of sewage can resume at its usual pace, and also to maintain it down there as well. But while down there, all this weird stuff happens. All these lights become green, and their headlights on their helmets and general lights down there become green. Not sure green, I mean, who in their right minds would like the colour green voluntarily? I mean, you have got to be one very strange and extremely unusual person to like the colour green. I can't quite put my finger on who would actually like that colour so much. And it's during this experience that Gemma first sees what she perceives to be a child or children in the sewer, and they attack Gemma and her team. They try to get their helmets off and they drag off one of the people down into the sewer. Quite quickly after this, we are introduced to our two main characters, which are both in the police force. One is called Joey Pardo and the other one is called Jamila Patel. As far as I'm aware, there are two more other books that these characters are the main characters. But as far as I'm aware, you don't really need to read them in order. I read this and yes, it does bring up some events in their past, which maybe happened in previous books, but I never really got confused. They're kind of like the Mulder and Scully. They complement each other well, especially because Jamila is, I think, a Pakistani woman on the police force, and it touches quite regularly on her struggles with that amongst the other officers and fellow employees. So it's their job to investigate the strange and unusual, kind of like, as I said, with Mulder and Scully from X-Files. And during their investigation, they discover that there's these strange children that have been lurking in the sewer. Now, these aren't just normal people like you and me. They have these disabilities and these deformities. Some of them have got their guts spilling out. Some of them have got way more extra arms. I believe one of them has got several arms going out the back of their head. And I believe that one of them is just a hand with a human head on top. So they are extremely unusual and they do attack when provoked. We soon discover that there's these fetuses in these hospitals that are growing in these women's womb, and when they are born and the doctors see them, they perceive them as being monsters and to something for them to experiment on and observe and ultimately kill, purely because of how deformed they look. They perceive them to not be able to live a normal life and they see it as a mercy. But these strange fetuses have got another plan. They keep on trying to crawl back into the wombs of other women, regardless whether they're pregnant or not. These fetuses and children, as I said, keep themselves to themselves for the most part, but they can be provoked, they can be violent, they can growl at people, they can bite, they can scratch, they can kill. There is one scene in this book, and this can be maybe of a trigger warning if you are a cat lover or an animal lover, but there is a scene in this book where one of them attacks a cat and it can get very disgusting, so be warned about that. But our two detectives, Jamila and Jerry, find that these children are living in the sewers beneath the City of London. And more strangely, there is this strange and mysterious smoke woman that's got a cloak and a hood on that's always around the children, and she's always protecting them and saying, stay away from my children, or what she refers to them as nestlings. She's very protective over them. She can attack when she feels that she needs to. But as I was reading this book, I was thinking that who is the monsters? Is it the children and these fetuses that look, a bit different and act a little bit different? Or is it the human characters? And I kind of felt a little bit of sympathy and compassion towards the children, because it isn't their fault. It isn't their fault that they look this way and how people react around them. It's like I can't help being a white guy and having brown hair. It's just how I am. It's just how I was born. I can't change anything. And who is this smoke woman? Who exactly is she, and what are her motivations, and why does she feel this need to protect all these children? I mean, obviously I know, but yeah, I want to give like an air of mystery towards this character. We do find out about who this character is as the book goes on, and her character is explored, so have no worries about that. What the book doesn't really explore, and this isn't really a spoiler, is that how exactly these children came to be and how they became deformed. And the reason why this book is called The Children That God Forgot is that the Smoke Woman says that. She says that society and the mothers have turned their back on them and God has forgotten them. So Jerry and Jamila have to try to uncover the mystery behind the Smoke Woman, rescue the children, even though they aren't in any danger. They aren't in any danger. They are all just living peacefully down there in the sewer. The Smoke Woman isn't keeping the children against their own will. They aren't mistreated. They aren't hurt or abused or anything like that. But for some reason, Jerry and Jamila feel that it's necessary to put a team together and rescue these children and take them out from the sewers and to try to help them, maybe even cure some of their deformities. And when I was reading this book, I was thinking, okay, they are living in the sewers. It's disgusting down there. They're probably, got loads of diseases already, but they aren't in any danger. They are more or less happy down there. And it kind of reminded me a lot about Kabul from Clive Barker, where the monsters are the good guys and the humans are the bad guys. It isn't really the same as in this book, as the humans, they do try to understand and they do try to accept these children, but it is difficult for them to do, including our main characters. And this book can get very disgusting as well. There is a part in the book where the sewer erupts and it's basically like a fountain of all like shit and body parts all chopped up, and yeah, it can get pretty disgusting in the sewers and in the sewer sections. But I actually like the sewer sections. I like this whole book. It was a pleasure to get through. It really was. It wasn't difficult to read or understand. As I said at the start, it's not Shakespeare. It's not going to win any awards or anything like that, but it is worth a read. I can't recommend this enough. In fact, Graham is probably one of my new favourite horror writers that I read this year. And also, this is probably going to be in my top 10 of books I've read during this year. I've got a couple more of his work in my room, so I cannot wait to get to them as soon as I can. Maybe not this year, but definitely next year. So guys, that has been my review for The Children God Forgot by Graham Masterton. Let me know, have you read this book? Have you read anything by this author? If you have, please comment down below if you have any more recommendations, and I will, with pleasure, check them out. And let me know if I've maybe encouraged you and inspired you to pick this up and give it a try. You can get it in a Kindle version as well, so yeah, you got that. And yeah, if you have read it, we can have a discussion about it down below in the comments. As always, if you go into spoilers, just write spoiler in capital letters at the top of your comment and then write whatever you want to write. But I can't wait to read more from this author. He really did make an impact on me, and I wasn't expecting to enjoy this book as much as I did. So guys, that's been my review for this book. Hopefully you found this interesting. And yeah, it was a shame that I didn't complete it in October, but how it goes sometimes. But yeah, with all that out of the way guys, I will see you in my next video.